Hey guys, this is Kayla coming at you with a tips and tricks video for Dizzywing Dispatch, I believe is what it's called, or Dizzying Dispatch, something like that. But basically, this is a strategy game within a game called Feral, and it can get pretty tricky once you get up to the higher levels. But if you're already familiar with the game, this is just going to be about tips and tricks to help you guys get that money and get any quests that you're going to be needing for the season pass coming up. So basically, number one is to always have these little power-ups. And I'm talking about a peacocks, and I'm talking about the little birds that do the special power-ups. You want to always make sure that you have 4 in a row in order to get them. Like, for example, if you need to get 4 more, all you have to do is just have to keep on matching up random ones, like random 3s, and eventually you will end up getting a power-up from the 4s. Alright, let me just continue here, just doing random ones until I end up getting a chance for a 4. And there you go, right there at the top here. So you just have to keep doing, working the screen, working the board, doing random ones until you get 4. And you want to have at least 2. I would recommend to have at least 2 of these little power-ups. And when it comes to peacocks, these are very important, and especially when you combine 2 together, it'll clear the entire board on its own. So it's very important that you have that. And you can see I just got 2 power-ups there. You want to absolutely make sure that you have at least 1 peacock at all times, because you will end up getting in a situation where you're out of moves, or you're almost out of moves, and you need to make a quick executive decision to use one of these to get out of the way. Tip number 2 is whenever you're trying to clear items and you have eggs, you always want to clear the eggs first, because the eggs are going to block everything else from coming down. That way it'll help better with the flow of everything else, since this is a match game. And when it comes to these items here, you're going to want to use these power-ups to your advantage. So for example, birds going upwards are going to clear this whole column. And since I have that one, I want it to go to the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. And as you use power-ups, you want to make sure that you also gain them back, just like I did there. Now, tip number 3 is you're going to come into a situation like this, where power-ups are not going to work, because if you use a power-up here, the peacock will not be activated, which is actually very nice for certain situations, but unfortunately, in this situation, it's not going to be very useful. So, in order to fix this problem, you literally just want to go all around this, just match all around this hat, this item, or whatever item it is, until you end up with a situation where you can get it in a different area. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and do this. This way, the hat is going to stay here in this area, and I'm just going to match a 4 there, so I have that ready. And then I'm going to go ahead and end up clearing it down there. So you have to work around the peacock, but do not use this power-up at all until you absolutely need it. And this is crucial in this game, because you will get stuck at like level 90 or something, and you'll be really high up there, and you would have made a mistake by using all of your peacocks, and now you can't use it. The good news is you do have the dizzying bird, which leads us into our next tip. And that's tip number 4. Use this guy right here, but be careful when you use him. Only use this little bird when you do not have absolutely anything else to do. You're out of peacocks, you're out of power-ups, you're out of everything, and you've got limited moves left. You want to make sure that you are able to use this guy, because this guy will mix match everything on the screen. That'll give a really big chance for these items to get on the bottom level. And also you'll get more power-ups and everything else, and it'll be just a perfect solution to finish up the game. Tip number 5 is to plan ahead. You're going to want to plan ahead for anything that you're going to be doing in this game, because this game is it can be absolutely frustrating, but it's also very fun. And by planning your route out, you just want to make sure that you know what you want to do. So my goal is to get these 2 hats to be right next to each other. In order to do that, all I have to do is do this, and then I know that if I were to get something here in this column, one of these, I will easily be able to move that out of the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue to make pairs in this area until I'm able to get a 4, and then that will aid me tremendously. Now what I could do here is, here's a unique situation. So I told you never use a peacock unless you absolutely need to. But if you see here, we have 3 peacocks. I can easily spare 1 by doing this, and then it'll cause these 2 to fall. But I still have 2, so I'm in the clear in case I need to make another one quickly. And oftentimes when you use power-ups like peacocks, you will be able to automatically gain another one because if you're lucky enough, that is, the mismatches will come out perfectly. Now here's another example when you have moves. You want to keep your moves in your eye. This is tip number 6. Always look at your moves. And whenever you are running low on moves, like I'd say around move 20, if you don't have the majority of the board cleared, then you can go ahead and start using more power-ups to help with that. But always start moving these down as fast as you possibly can in the least amount of moves. So I'm just going to focus. I'm going to target these over here. Okay, there's 1 out. Good there. Just make sure you have an eye on those moves no matter what you do. All right, now I only have 1 left. And I want to get this guy to be over here or over here because these 2 peacocks are in the way. So I may have to spare one of these, unfortunately. And as you can see here, I can move that over. And all I have to do next is get this guy over, and there you go. Now, tip number 7 is going to be whenever you don't have a move limit, you want to go ahead and take that time to make as many 4s as you possibly can, meaning take this opportunity to make as many power-ups as possible. And it can be really hard to see with all of these colors clashing with each other. So what you can do is just scan for yellows. If you just scan for yellows, you can alienate that color and easily see if there's any 4s available. And you can do that with reds, whites, purples. Do it with every single color, blues, anything that you can, just in order to make sure that you can see. And see there, I just messed that up because I had a 4 opportunity, but I missed it, unfortunately, because I wasn't paying attention. So you really want to keep your eyes sharp for that. Like here's one right there. So just make as many as you possibly can because it's going to be absolutely crucial for getting those high scores. And the good news with this one is there is no pressure because there's absolutely no movesets. And after every few moves, you want to go ahead and check. Like, see, there's one up there. After every few moves, just alienate those colors and make sure that you can see where everything is at so you know what you're doing. And the reason why I'm making this video is because the new Season Pass just came out, and for anybody who's interested in the Season Pass, you buy it within Feral and you get a ton of cool different items, especially the new character, which is a jackalope. And with a lot of those quests that you have to do for the Season Pass, you are going to need to do the mini games, and the mini games have certain quests within them that will help you gain those special characters. And Dizzywing Dispatch, I'm probably saying that wrong, but this game is one of them that you are going to need to complete in order to earn certain prizes within the game. These bomb birds here are very useful as well because they get rid of a 3x3 area. So for example, if I go here, it will shoot once, bring one down, and it also shoots a second time and brings it down 2 spaces. So you want to make sure that you keep that in mind when we use those. Also, be very careful whenever you want to use these 2 peacocks together because they will clear the whole board. And if you have some really good power-ups like these guys or other peacocks, they will disappear as well as these 2, and then you will be left with nothing. And here's another tip. When you come down to a point where you've already completed your objective and the only thing you have to do is get this point bar up, all you need to do is don't use any of your power-ups unless you have a limited amount of movesets. But what you're going to want to do is Just do the small ones. Just do the small 3s. You can use a power-up if you absolutely want to because they will make it go faster, but you always want to be careful when you have those move limits. Here's another thing if you didn't know. If you want this to be a certain direction, then you have to match the 4 in that direction. So for example, see, because I'm moving my mouse downwards, it's going to create an up and down bird. Thanks for watching this video. I hope that this helps you figure out this crazy game, but if not, I'll see you in the next video.